guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And we're in the same room together, which you know what that means. Later on, we're going to paint these walls.
It's going to be a nasty massacre of all sorts of wetness.
Fluids. We're going to film it for Patreon, so make sure you subscribe to that down below.
Today, we're going to be talking about Beetlejuice! Yay! Michael Keaton's back to reprise his role of the soul-sucking demon that he is, the beloved Beetlejuice. Let's go ahead and talk about that real fast. You need more Michael Keaton, okay? It's got to have more cowbell.
It does need more Michael Keaton.
It's got to have more cowbell, but I like what you're doing here. Overall, solid film, great acting. Jenna Ortega knocked it out of the park. She was great as the heir to the throne of Lydia Dietz. Lydia Dietz and Winona Ryder did a great job as well. The girl that played Kevin's mom, I don't know. Kevin! I don't know her name. I don't know her name. She did great. Everybody did a great job in this film.
Yeah.
And it flowed really well. It was 100%, without a doubt, a Tim Burton flick. 100%. So if you go in this movie...
But in a good way.
Yeah.
Not like recent.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched much of it. What's he doing? What's he up to? What's his taxes look like?
Well, it's not great.
I will say, though, the very opening of the movie, it does get you right into it. The lettering, the camera shot. My favorite part of the film, honest to God, not my favorite part. One of my favorite parts is the opening and the way the camera comes in on that gimbal type of thing and it slow moves.
It throws
you
you right into the 80s.
It feels good, dude. I liked it a lot. I was like, that's not me. That's just a feel good time.
Well, from the Danny Elfman score to just the way that they shot this opening, and no spoilers, by the way. We're going to do a spoiler review, so make sure you subscribe and all that stuff. So that you see that. But yeah, the opening, the way they did that shot threw you right back in, like you said, to the 80s. I felt like I was in the 80s. And not in that weird, like, oh, we're the strangers' kids things. We're on bicycles.
Thank God. But
like in a natural sort of way. Like kind of like what it felt like watching Alien Romulus and you felt like you were an alien. They managed to manufacture that, at least for the opening here. But yeah, as we said, there's not enough Michael Keaton in the movie, for sure. A surprising lack of Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice in the movie. But here's the good news. I'm shocked that if you'd told me that before I went in, I'd have been like, oh, this is going to be terrible. This is going to be awful. But surprisingly, the movie didn't need it. It was still really good without it.
You know what? It was a very simple, straightforward story. It was a love story. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I'm not giving away any spoilers. I'm not telling tales outside of school. It was a love story, and it was actually entertaining and interesting. It didn't, have an eye roll. I'm like, I cannot watch another season of 13 Reasons Why. It's just not in me. It didn't have that. It actually felt natural and it flowed well and it paced well. And they actually did, and Tim Burton did a fair job of balancing the several plot points going on throughout the movie, because there's really like three. Maniacal, crazy unwinds, and Beetlejuice gets his panties out and goes buck wild, girls gone wild style. It takes place in the middle, I think, a couple of days before Halloween. And that's one thing we did talk about on the way home from the theater, is that it does capture the Halloween autumn essence.
Yeah, when Jay lifted his head up from my lap as I was driving, he went, you know what? There's a lot of Halloween atmosphere.
Be fair,
in this.
I swallowed before. I'm a lady.
But no, seriously, man, like that's probably my biggest takeaway from the film, is that the entire thing, it made me think, I wish Tim Burton and a crew would get together and make a movie it doesn't have to be Beetlejuice, but a movie with this feel to it every October, because this is one of the most Halloween-y movies I've ever seen. They spend a lot of time in the actual death zone, which is surprising, but even when they're on land, like Kevin Costner, kissing the
world
grounds
of water
of England, when they're here at home, everything's fall drenched. They have an actual couple-minute sequence with someone on a bicycle, and you're just seeing all the designs.
For whatever reason, I loved it. I mean, called me gay, but I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I know.
And I love it.
And I was embracing that moment. But no, it really did make you feel like I was cruising through a Sears catalog, fall of 1996. It felt great. And yes, I put the magazine away with sticky pages later on.
These pages, they're stuck together.
It doesn't matter.
I want to read this article about fall baking, and I can't because the pages are stuck together.
Use Amazon. Don't worry about ordering from the Sears catalog book. Anyway, yeah, it really did put you in the Halloween spirit, as it were. And then this movie does, you mentioned it, it does spend a lot more time in the afterlife, which was pretty interesting. You see a lot more elements and world building that you didn't really see in the first one. Now, granted, that could be a weakness of the film, that they do spend too much time there.
I liked it.
I liked it myself. I feel but maybe it would take away the mystique and the weird allure of that.
That's
but
fair.
It's not bad though. I mean, and what you do see in that, and what Beetlejuice's function in that world is actually, it does make sense.
I dug that.
I liked it a lot.
And I love the shrunken head dudes.
Bob is great.
Dude, Bob, I'm literally going to get a tattoo of Bob. Because when there's a point where Bob, and we're talking about one of the shrunken head characters, characters in the suit or whatever, and he's sitting there at one point, and he's like super scared, and his eyes are all bulged out, and he looks like me having an anxiety attack. I was like, I'm actually gonna get that tattoo because it's such a lovable character. There's multiple characters in this that they do, and we won't say what they are, but you could see them selling merch, basically like Baby Yoda type shit.
Oh my god, yeah,
almost literally.
That one creature that we can't talk about because it would spoil it is like me when I have too many apple juices at karaoke bar, just running around ankle biting, acting crazy, not knowing what's going on. Hey, calm down, man. You act like it's your first time out. It is, but yeah,
it's been a while.
And I will say also, and you can't give enough credit to Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega does do a very, very, very good job in this movie. As again, the heir apparent to the Lydia Dietz, I am strange and unusual. She does a great job of that, and the teenage angst, even though it's weird, she was like 21. See, that's what she's like. But again, she does look young. She does pass as like a 10th or 11th grader, maybe 11th grader.
It works. Like, but I was thinking that when I was watching, I was like, she's almost to the point in her career where like, okay, and I'm sure she wants that too. Like, this is not a high school aged girl.
She's like, I'm literally banging Captain Jack Sparrow, allegedly.
But like, no, like she's really good in the movie. But whenever you say Jenna Ortega's good in something, everyone's like, I don't get the big deal. It's not that she doesn't have like any crazy like 12 Angry Men dialogue scenes. But I'll say this: the emotional aspect of the film with me was there's a loss that she's feeling, that she's been dealing with, and it actually got me emotional. It's probably because me and my kids and shit like that. But like,
go put a tampon on your butt. You're bleeding. God dang.
Out of my emotional hole. But no, like legit, like it got me emotional a couple times, and she doesn't do anything over the top. But like you said, she's really good in the role. She's a good actress.
Well, again, I think that Tim Burton balances out the several plot lines going on with the different characters very well. I don't think he doesn't focus on a particular character or storyline too long, and it feels like a good balance. And again, Tim Burton's really good at doing that. Tim Burton's even better at doing weird stuff, which there's plenty of weird stuff in this, and it's stinks of Tim Burton. There's sometimes just like, all right, man, calm down.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Your Dungeons and Dragons is getting the better of you here.
One scene in particular, you go, man, this is gross. Well, like, I can't believe how gross this is.
There were some parts of it, and I'm like, yeah. But the parts the familial parts or whatever, the actual emotional parts, like when Tim Burton actually does focus in on it, it actually is pretty effective, but he doesn't really stay there too long. I'm like, man, Tim Burton could probably make a good, decent family movie if he wanted to.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if you imagine like Seventh Heaven directed by Tim Burton.
Yeah.
But I mean, he could do something like that. I don't know, but
it worked. But also, dude, Justin Theroux, I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah, he was good.
Ponytail. Dude, he was good. So good in that. Like, you're supposed to hate his character, and he does a great job of being hateable as a character, but I also liked him. I was like, I kind of get where this guy's coming from at times.
Overall, man, a solid film. I would give the movie an 8.0. I feel like I'm going to settle there. It's not as strong as the first one.
Saddle!
God dang, we're going to do that. You better take the court case and drop it. What? No.
In the Arms of Another Man 7. Yeah, whatever.
I want to suck them.
What movie is that from? Comment down below.
Well, yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.0. Obviously not as strong as the original Beetlejuice. Nothing was going to come close to that, ever. And there are some problems with the movie, absolutely. One of the things we talked about on the way here to film was that, and maybe it's just us talking out of our third nipple, we don't know.
Teeth.
Is that maybe it's something is off with Beetlejuice or Michael Keaton or something. I don't know. It felt like lines were cut, or it didn't. There was a moment that it was going to go further than it was. That they didn't want it to. And they cut that line. I don't know what it was.
It felt suspiciously lacking Michael Keaton. The practical effects were great. They did some wild shit I didn't expect.
Well,
some really wild shit with the effects.
And if we don't mention it, no one's gonna let us live it down. Willem Dafoe was great. Willem Dafoe was another new addition to the cast as a detective / actor guy that's a part of the underworld situation, and he was great. His makeup looked good, and I will say something about
in like a Two-Face sort of way.
Yeah, it was like it was better than Tommy Lee Jones's like puke. Like it looked like Tommy Lee Jones looked like someone puked a high C on his face, and it just dried. But anyway, I will say also about the effects in this movie. You could tell that CG is used, but it's used with practical effects as well. They use it very effectively.
If you think like The Mask with Jim Carrey at times,
the sandworm sequence was
way better.
A blend of like stop motion animation mixed with CG, and it was beautiful.
Yeah,
that's exactly, you want that other, like there's something about stop motion animation and the practical effects of the older movies that make it look more surreal and like creepy.
Yeah,
and that's what they were missing in a lot of movies that are like out today. But they combined CGI in the right way and kept those practical effects while enhancing it. Yeah. Which you can't say enough about how great that was to see. But yeah, would you take your kid to go see this?
I'm taking my kids, so yes.
God damn, you're a bad parent. No, I would.
How about that? I really am.
I would say maybe under 10, probably not, because there might be some sequences like there's some really gross shit. Like
there's a couple moments, yeah, but it's like fun gross. It's like Nickelodeon gross.
I don't know, but you got to explain that. Like, what's going on in that belly?
Well, I
don't know.
You mind your goddamn business about Holly.
And then you hear this. No, but anyway, yeah. I feel like, was this movie PG-13? It was rated.
Probably.
Yeah. It was still.
They actually bleeped out the F word at one point.
That was, yeah. So
which was a little over the top. I was like, you actually bleeped. That was some Deadpool meta shit.
You know what it is? I feel like the moments that made Michael Keaton funniest in Beetlejuice is like the throwaway, like nobody thought twice about the line, and that's what made it so funny. Like there were moments like where they try to do the what the fuck, and then I was like, yeah, that's just too on the nose. It's really not funny. But there's one moment in the movie where he's like, I'm gonna make you so happy. Like those are the moments they should have focused it. And then sometimes, and this is another negative part of it. I feel like sometimes with Beetlejuice they went too slapsticky. Like they made him too much of a the cartoon show, which I love the cartoon show. Don't get me wrong, but it was always separate in my mind than the actual movie.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton was a lot more of a hard-edged Beetlejuice. I feel like they kind of watered him down a little bit to make him more appealing. Like that he couldn't get as there was a lot of gross parts. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like there was a little bit more of a Nickelodeon vibe to him than there used to be.
For sure.
But it wasn't bad. But again, I feel like Beetlejuice works his best is when he's doing like. You know, it's like that's why like the original movie where he's like, that's why I won't do 2 shows a week anymore. I just won't do it. But when he was doing the therapist part was funny.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna. You saw in the trailers, like I'm not gonna say which one's the enabler, but let's get it.
Yeah. Oh, and also like just again the way the reason for Beetlejuice to come back was really well done. Mm-hmm. It felt like they were laboring to break that out, but everything else was so good and Halloweeny and fun and fall feeling. And just like fun, good time Danny that like you really didn't mind, but it was a noticeable lack of him. So I don't know what his screen time in the first movie was versus this one. It could be equal, but you felt it watching this movie. But still, definitely recommend it. Definitely go see it. I'm going to take my family to it. Fuck you. And don't judge me, you bitch.
God damn, dude. I can't wait to contact fucking family services.
It's an 8.0 out of 10 for me as well. Definitely go see it.
Okay, now I won't because you agree with my score.
That's what happens.
Well, yeah. And by the way, I want everyone to know we're not shitting on Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice.
No, he was great.
I just don't want people to roll their eyes like, of course you didn't like him. No, that's not true. Michael Keaton was great as Beetlejuice, but there was just something off about him a little bit. Just a little bit.
It wasn't even, I don't think there was something off about him. I think
the writing.
You felt like they were keeping him away for a reason. Like, we'll talk about more in the spoiler review, which you guys got to make sure you're subscribed and have the bell click so you know when you get it. We love your fucking faces.
And don't forget, we live film.
Also,
throwback there.
There's one thing that we haven't done in a really long time, and I've missed doing it, so I'm just gonna say it right now. Oh my god! See, that's so fun to do, and I miss
dirty skank whore bitch fucking discharge. Bitch grown hose.
I got no debt.
Bitch grown hose.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
Hello, listener. Do you like scary movies? What's your favorite scary movie? Well, Jay and Mike like scary movies, too. You should go and subscribe to their podcast, We Watched a Movie. Because if you don't, I'll gut you like a... Well, I think you get the idea. Enjoy yourselves while you still can.